This video is going to have a look at how do you set up your timetable in an Outlook calendar. So to set up your calendar, the first thing you want to do is when you open up Outlook, you want to go and select the calendar. Now in my Outlook, to select the calendar, you go down to the bottom left side of the screen and it is the calendar symbol that's second in from the end. If you click on that, that is going to select the calendar. Each setup might be slightly different. If you're having trouble locating where your calendar button is, if you go up to the top of the screen and if you go to view and then then you can select calendar from there, or alternatively, you can select calendar by hitting command and the number 2. That's your shortcut to be selecting the calendar once you're inside the Outlook program. So what we want to do is we want to enter in your timetable classes into the calendar. So to enter a new appointment, there's two ways that this can be done. The first one is by clicking the appointment button up the top in the ribbon, and that will open up the screen to add a new appointment. The other option is to go to the time where you would like to add that new appointment and double click. So just finding the time and then double clicking in that space, and it will also open up the appointment. Now once the new appointment window has opened, you can go ahead and start completing the information. So the first thing I'm going to put in is the subject. So in the subject, I would put in the title that you want it to appear in the calendar, and that'll be the subject that you have on at that time. So for example, you might have mathematics on, so you put your subject down as mathematics. Then you can enter in your location, and that is going to be the classroom that you are timetabled in. Next, what you want to do is you want to check the start and the end. So in Outlook in the calendar, by default, it sets it up as half an hour. You may need to go in and change the start time or the end time to make sure the times line up with the timetabled time for that subject. So for example, if it was period 2, we would change 9:30 to 9:50 and then change the end time to 10:40. Then we can see that our duration updates to 50 minutes, which is how long our lessons go for. Alright, so now that we have the subject, the location, and the start and end time, the next thing we want to do is select a category. So this is going to be the color that will show up on your calendar. So you want each subject to have its own category and its own color. So if you go and click on the categories button, and then you can go into edit categories. Inside the edit categories window, you can go ahead and edit existing categories, delete categories, or add new categories. So if you wanted to edit an existing category, you go and you select it, and then if you double click on it, it will allow you to change its name. So you might want it to be called maths instead of mathematics. Then if you want to change the color, if you go and click on the colored circle, it brings up more options for you to select from. Alternatively, if you wanted to delete a category that's there, you could select that row and then go down to the minus sign down the bottom of the screen, and that will delete that category. Ask you if you're sure and just click delete. Alternatively, you can add a new category in. So if you go ahead and click the plus button, it then brings you up with the opportunity for you to name it. And then you can go ahead and select the color and then go add, and that brings it up for you to choose from. Right, so because the subject that we're entering is maths, we are going to select maths as our category. So to do that, if we hit the close button, once we've added and edited all of our categories, and go back up to categorize and select maths. And that brings it up as a maths category. Now the final thing we want to do before we save and close our new appointment is set it up so it's going to reoccur every 2 weeks. So to do that, if we go up to the reoccurrence button and select it, and brings it up with our options. Now we can select from daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. When entering your timetable, you want to select weekly, and it's going to occur every 2 weeks because we have a fortnightly cycle. So it's going to occur on Tuesday because that's the date that we first entered. And then start date is going to be, again, the date that you first entered in your appointment. And then you can select an end date. So you might change that to the end of term, or you might have that in as the end of the year. So you could put in the 3rd of December 2021, and then the start time and end time is going to flow through from the original entry into the appointment. So once you've set it up to occur every 2 weeks, and entered in the end date. If you go OK, it's now going to put it into your calendar for every 2 weeks. So you notice that once you've done that, the start and end times in the original appointment has grayed out. So if you want to go in and edit that, you can go in and edit it by clicking on the refresh button, which allows you to then go in and edit your start and end times. If you wanted to remove the reoccurrence, you'd simply select remove reoccurrence. When setting up a new appointment, the other option you have is to give yourself a reminder. So if you're putting in a once-only appointment into the calendar, you might select a reminder to remind you 15 minutes before you have to be there. Because these are reoccurring timetable appointments that we're putting in, we probably want to be selecting no reminders. That way you're not getting pop-ups every time you start a new lesson. All right. So once you've gone ahead and you've made all those adjustments into a new appointment, if you go ahead and save and close, it is going to add that into your calendar. So we can see our first appointment is going to be on the 26th. Then if we go for 2 weeks time, so the 9th, we can see that that calendar appointment is in there again. If we go 1 week ahead on the 16th, it's not there because it's set to go every 2 weeks. So then again on the 23rd, it will be back in our calendar. Now once you have entered in the appointment and you've gone save and close and it's in there, you can go ahead and you can edit that appointment. So to edit it, if you go and double click, when you first double click, it will edit up that occurrence only. So it will only change that specific day that you are clicking on. If you want to go ahead and make a change to all future occurrences of that appointment, you can select go to series before you make your edits. So once you've gone ahead and you've edited the information that you want, you can go and save and close, and that will make the adjustments required. So you can set up your whole timetable for both weeks A and B in Outlook. Now this will help you stay organized and know where you need to be and what subjects you have on each day.